Hello, and today you've joined me on my bed because I wanted to make quite a special video for a very dear friend of mine who recently asked me to do a life experience that I had when I was a little bit younger, because she's currently doing a video on bullying. So I'd like to talk to you about that today. Now, when I was younger, around about say 8 or 9, I went to junior school. And in junior school, I wasn't very liked. I think I was different to them, or they didn't like me for whatever reason. Of course, being so young, you don't really understand this. And I felt I was being bullied by my fellow classmates. They started off by sort of segregating me from other activities that they did, and games that they were playing at playtime, at break times and things like that. And they kind of started saying nasty, hateful, hurtful things behind my back, and this got worse and worse over time. And then they ended up, hitting me and stuff because I was different. Although I was probably still quite young to realise it, I was very effeminate back then, and being gay was seen as a really horrible thing in my school back then. It probably still is, and people probably still experience that quite badly. After a long period of time, it wears you down, and so badly that I talked to my teachers about what happened. And at that stage, realising that bullying was in school was a very, very young thing, and they didn't really realise what it was about. So they kind of just let it go on and let it continue. And so I was still suffering for quite some time. And the last sort of 3 years of my school, I told my dad what was happening, and he talked to the big governors of that school and made a big thing about it. And I was actually removed from that school. And I then spent 6 to 12 weeks at home then, while they tried to find me in new school. At the end of that time, they extended this time even further. So it's like about a year, maybe 2 years, and I was still out of school, and I wasn't getting any home tuition or anything like that. So, as anybody will tell you, my handwriting is awful, and it was the thing that suffered because of it. Later on, when I finally found a new school to go to, it was only a year or two before I had to move on to high school. And I kind of joined back into mainstream high school again. And of course, that kind of feeling of being scared and stuff kind of came back to me. It was really, really quite an awful experience. I remember, again, them poking fun and talking behind my back, whispers behind desks, and notes being throwing little pieces of paper at the back of my head. It was horrible. And all this kind of started back up again. When I talked about it, they were trying to, I talked about it to a few people, but I was quite a quiet kid back then, and it was this and other things that made me more come out as I'm older and louder. I befriended what would seem to me quite a quiet guy in the back of the classroom where we were being taught, and we became really firm friends over the period of about a year. And what I didn't know, that he was one of the toughest guys in school at the time, and seemingly over the next few months my bullying went away. As I got older and my friend got older at the time, it never happened. It stopped. I think people were like in the respectfulness of him, and it didn't stop. Also, I had a lot of support from adults and things, teachers and stuff, in the high school, as it was more recognised that these things were going on. So my moral to you, my statement I'm going to make to you, is that it does get better. Things do change. Talk to people. Talk to someone, anyone, even maybe your mum and dad, but if you can't approach them, talk to a teacher you trust. We all have a teacher we love, you know. Talk to them, and it will be, you know, things do get better. You talk to them, express yourself, you know, just make things, you know, don't be so hard on yourself. Life is only like that for a short period of time, because you end up, because when you end up growing up and you go off and do your own things, and you know, you'll see that life gets so much more wonderful and so much more fabulous afterwards. Just trust me on this one. I've been through it for many, many years. I've come out the other side wonderfully smiling, and I'm really, really, really pleased by it. So, you know, hang on in there, talk to people, befriend people, because it does work. It does get better.